Me, I'll start the session then. Thanks, Arish. So, friends, once again, good morning to all of you. Now, we're going to learn about working with the groups. Now, this topic has two-fold objective. Number one, before we proceed, the first objective is we're all born, brought up, we live, and then we finally leave the groups. That's a reality. So you were born in a group called family. You live with groups called friendship, clubs, associations, neighborhoods, classroom. And tomorrow you would join a workplace. Until you leave, you would be part of groups. So therefore, uh, first objective is how to live through the groups, how to be effective, how to be successful, how to contribute to the successfulness of the groups. The second objective of learning this subject is you're going to supervise groups. As a management student, you have to be very, very familiar with how to get the work done from a group of subordinates reporting to you, or you let the groups develop independently and then leave them for their performance. So, but you're supposed to give an account of how these groups fared in their workplaces. So, these are the two objectives, and therefore, we must learn this subject much, much better. Point number one, as I told you, you are part of a group called Group of Managers. So, the dynamics of that group is much different from the dynamics of subordinates groups, because as managers, you are very highly uh, what I would say, aware of things, and you know how to maneuver through, you know, your personalities, you know how people play politics to get their things advanced. So, working as a member of a group of managers is how to survive and how to thrive, how to progress in life, especially in your workplaces. So, working as part of a group of managers is definitely tough because you have to survive. But at the same time, you have 10 supervisors paying them huge salaries. I can take one supervisor, ask him to supervise 30 people. So I'm saving 10 supervisors' salary for the company. This is what is happening today in the workplace. So you must be willing to supervise more subordinates, in which case, think of how dynamic you should be, how bold you should be, how commanding you should be. It's a very challenging job that you are choosing. The managerial job is not that easy. So there's therefore working part of a group and then working for the group. Those two responsibilities are very, very tough, and they will be deciding factors of your career. So, so therefore, how do we move about understanding this topic? We'll try to see quickly, very briefly, what is a group and what is a team. How different are they? We'll try to see both of them. In the meantime, some students are connecting through personal emails and therefore they need to be admitted. If you connect through official email, it's auto. Some wants to join this call. Who are these people? There are many, I think, waiting to be admitted. Um, okay, admit all, I'll say. But if you're admitting, if you're connecting through personal emails, then you'll have this issue. Can save some time. So better try to connect through your official email. So where are we? We are talking about uh, how do we understand a group, and then how different is it from a team, or is there any differences between? Are there any differences between groups and teams? We'll say that, and then followed by classification of groups because you're responsible for working with those groups. And then we have to understand why people join groups. That's called reasons behind joining groups. And then various types of groups you are responsible for. And then how these groups develop or teams develop. So we have a model that we will try to see. And then that model of working with the groups will uh, give us directions or guide us. So let's start with first one called uh, definition of a group. Uh, yeah. A group is any number, remember, I've underlined that any number of people who share common goals. So, sharing goals is a second important characteristic. Number one, any number of people, which means a minimum of two, and this minimum of two should be having a common goal, and they regularly talk to each other over a period of time. And they have to talk in person to each other, person to person, we call it. So that's how we define the group. But here is one psychologist who defined what is a group, and his name is Edgar Sheen, a very popular psychologist. What he says is, if you want to define a group, they should the group should fulfill three characteristics, not two. With earlier definition, we have seen only two: any number and common shared goal or shared purpose. But he says they must be psychologically aware of one another. Indirectly, in the previous definition, we have seen that they should be all communicating with each other, person to person. So here, Sheen says psychologically aware of one another, which means they know people not necessarily outwardly by their appearance, but they would know each other so about their hobbies, tastes, interests, habits, lifestyles, more personally each other. That means they would know family members, they would know each other's hobbies, each other's tastes, and so on, each other's value systems, each other's belief systems, and so on. And third characteristic is definitely difficult. So for example, if we take your class, do you think your class is a group by these standards, by these three character criteria? The first one be any number. I think that's fulfilled. And they also have common shared purpose. Everybody wants to finish PGDM. That's common shared purpose. But are you psychologically aware of one another? Not necessarily. Most of you may not even know today each other better. And I wonder whether you would know each other's names better. So if you knew at least some names, that means it's another small group in a larger class group. So which means many small groups will be eventually created because it's very difficult to be psychologically aware of one another in a class of 60. And that's how this third characteristic is very crucial in defining what is a group. So by that standard, I don't think your class should be called a group. Similarly, those who are commuting in a train, do you think you would call them? Because they are all numbers, they are also sharing a purpose, but they are not psychological aware of each other. Or anybody, any group of people on an elevator, do you think there's a group? Any number? Common shade is there, but they are not aware of each other. Similarly, in a cinema theater, you are standing in a queue for a ticket. It's a group, they have a common purpose. You want a ticket to move, to go to the movie, but you're not aware of each other psychologically. So we cannot define them as groups. So by that standard, you'll find very rarely groups in the society. They're just numbers, but they have a common purpose, but they're not aware of each other. So now, if they are not aware of each other, the common shared purpose will be fading away. Or once you finish PGDM, you may no longer be friends. You may not meet also. You may just say, hello, how are you? Where are you? What are you doing? But you may not have close relationships for which people are willing to spend the time. That's how we define uh, group. Now let's think of what is a team. You can also try, anybody can try to answer what is a team. Now, team is also a group, first point, because it also has a number. And team also has a shared purpose. And to a very large extent, teams are also psychologically aware. Team members are psychologically aware of one another. That's why we are most of the time in the workplace, we use team rather than groups. So we are not using the word work groups any longer. Earlier, by 50s, 60s, 70s, even 80s also, we used to call groups, work groups. But today we are calling them teams. Team means you're united, you're aware of each other, your purpose is very strong, and you're all willing to put efforts for the purpose of the team. So its team is one individual, no longer as separated entity of many individuals. So what finally, how do we distinguish group from a team? Groups are relatively permanent, whereas teams are short-lived. They are there for short time. Now, how do you distinguish team? Team is also a group which is made up of members from different backgrounds in a company. They're all experts, they're all specialized in their own respective areas, and your company has a special project which is building some equipment or some machinery or some plant for the client. The client is buying something from you. Let us say your company manufactures turbines to produce electricity. Today we have electricity crisis. So therefore, what happens? Instead of depending on the government electricity supply, some small companies are willing to have their own turbines so that they can generate their own energy. So your company makes a turbine, and the turbine has to be fixed in the client's company, and then your company will send all specialists from different departments who can go and commission it or establish it, erect it, commission it, see that it is running, and then after that they'll come back to the company. This may be, let us say, for 3 months to 6 months. So in 3 to 6 months, all those experts from your company working in different departments, they would report to the client company for 6 months. Once that project is complete, they will go back to the company and to their respective departments. That's exactly called team. So groups are long term, teams are short lived or short term, and then they are extremely purposeful. And once that purpose is also short term fulfilled, they'll go back to their respective departments. That's how we distinguish what is a group and a team. And now what we'll do, this of course I will try to share all of these things. People join groups for various reasons. Why do you want to be part of a group? You feel very secure. You would improve your status and your self-esteem. That means your value is shown, your value improves, and then you're very powerful in a group rather than an individual. And then people join groups because achieving their goals becomes much easier through the support of other members. So this is how you would know why people need groups. Believe me, you cannot live alone. You must always be part of a group, uncompromised. And if you are sitting lonely, there's something threat, some danger. That means you will never feel secure. Your status will not improve. Your self-esteem will be poor, and you become less powerful. You cannot achieve things because all are interconnected. So that's the reason why one must be always part of a group, because in a group your personality shapes up. In a group, you will overcome shyness. In a group, you overcome your fearfulness. So, if you're lonely, those two strong qualities will always be deep seated in your life. They'll never go after some more years until you quit from the professions. It'll be still with you, probably until you die. So, therefore, being part of a group, working with the groups, supervising groups is a very tough challenge in life. So every manager has to understand the dynamics happening inside a group. So what we will do, let's quickly look at the types of teams you're responsible for. Either you're part of them or you're supervising them. So one is called functional team, other one is called problem solving, third one is cross functional, fourth one is self managed, and the last one is virtual teams. So virtual teams mean they're all using internet. They're all scattered. Members are all scattered, but network platforms gather them together. Okay. So what are functional teams? These are the ones who work together daily on a similar task. They deal with routine aspects of the uh, tasks, and they are part of one single department. All HR staff members, all marketing staff members. These are the examples of functional teams. Now, problem solving teams, these teams are they focus on special aspects, like for example, there is a lot of wastage in the workplace. There is quality issues in the workplace. A lot of complaints coming. So they will try to find solutions to those things, and therefore these team members are exclusively meant for taking actions. They are given power to take actions. Of course, they have certain limits, and they also address quality and cost problems. And they, in fact, they work like what we call them. They're called like champions, a group of fellows always available everywhere in the workplace, and they keep fixing the problems. Whenever there's a problem, these group fellows would go and fix them, and therefore they're called problem solving teams. Now we have another one called cross functional, which means members from different groups come together. This is also another example of a project. Now they deal with problems that cut across various departments. That means it is you're spreading over your boundaries. That's called boundary spanning. Your boundary is marketing, but you're spanning into operations. That's called boundary spanning. So it's permitted. Actually, earlier you're not supposed to span uh, beyond the boundaries. You have lines for that. But here you can, because let us say cardiology and neurology people work together. Cardiology and diabetologists work together. They have to for the sake of treating a patient. So cross functionally they jump. So for designing new products, new services, they have to join. They have to be joined by people from different specializations. That's why we call it cross-functional teams. And now we have self-managed teams. Here they are called empowered teams. Also another word for it, which means they don't need to depend on the boss for every decision that they make. In order to make customers happy, satisfied, they can make decisions, even in case of cost related issues. So, but some limitation will be there. That's what empowered means. Empowered doesn't mean fully free. They have lot of freedom to make decisions, but certain places they have to go back and tell the boss. But all the time they need not talk to the boss. They can make decisions to make us. For example, customer asks for some discount. You can give up till 5 to 10%, but you cannot give beyond 10%. This is what we call empowered. You can say that at the best I can give only 5%. I cannot give more than 5%. With great negotiation, you can say okay, 6%, 7%, like that you can. So don't use the word 10 before the customer. Now, if the customer says no, I want to talk to your boss, all that. Uh, if he's insisting on, what will you do? You will let him. My boss is not available in the office. You have to try something like this, because discounts means you're losing. Discounts means profit margins are dropping. So, what extent you can give discount, you have to see the margin and then discontinue. Otherwise, uh, that's what. If you let it go to the boss, boss may be compelled to give more than 10%, and you lose your face before that fellow. So, that's why this is a very peculiar team. And finally, virtual teams. Virtual means they are working in different workplaces, different time zones, different countries, geographically scattered, but they're all part of a project. So they're all working for similar goals. They know each other only on television screens or computer screens. So more of collaborative nature of work. Designing new products need collaborations from people from different places and locations. So technology brings them together. That's why they're called virtual teams. And in most of the IT companies, they happen in virtual form only. Though they're sitting in common office, still they cannot personally meet and talk, because everything is happening on internet, on computer screens. So this is what peculiarly. So we must know how to work, how to manage teams virtually. That's a tough challenge actually, because earlier, unless people are together, you wouldn't know how to talk to them. But now they're all scattered. How would you talk to them? So communication is the only solution. So here I'll pause what we will do. Now we will evolve one model. We'll see there's a model of working with the groups. And as a manager now, focus is only on the second objective. How you must, what I would say, how you should adopt any model for practice tomorrow. So I'll skip this. We'll, what I'll do, I'll share another screen with you. So, theory, we are taking a theory support of two professors by name Boot and Cowling from 1972. They've suggested a very grand, comprehensive model of working with the groups. So, slowly we'll move on. So, here is the model. We can take a screenshot because this will help us to understand the entire dynamics of working with groups. Now, as a manager, you must know you must know how to form a group. Therefore, that's called formation. So there is a set of aspects called variables, formation variables. So formation variables, which means what are the factors which must be considered while forming a group or creating a group. As a boss, you're supposed to create many groups in your workplace. So formation variables include a set of membership variables or factors and a set of situational factors. So all membership and situational put together called formation variables. Now, then next one is called development variables. When they are formed, they must be developed. After forming them, they must be developed. So, what are the development variables? Communicational patterns, role structure, norms, cohesiveness, leadership. What does it further mean? Members should develop various communicational patterns so that they can talk friendly, freely with everybody clearly. And then second depth aspect is role structure. That means they should develop various roles and assign them to each other so that they can perform those roles better. And but unfortunately, people may not like why I should do this, why I should do that, why he should not do this, why he should not do that. This is the way they fight each other. So in the process, you have to arrive at a decision to define who should be doing what. That is called role structuring. Then next one is they develop norms. What does it mean? How to behave in a group, how to behave during a meeting, how to be prompt for the meeting, how to be disciplined, how to be active in the group, or simply come and silently sit, have tea, snacks, and go away. No, you should know how to be productive, how to be contributing to the group's growth. So, norms are called basically certain expectations. Norms are also called easy rules, which means rules are stricter, norms are easy rules. That means you should not violate. Even if you violate, you will not be punished. But if you violate rules, you will be punished. That's the meaning of norms. Norms are called certain expectations from the members so that their behaviors are very regulated. Now, fourth developmental factor or variable called cohesiveness. Every work group in your office should be very, very cohesive because cohesiveness refers to the willingness to stay with the same group for a long time. Cohesiveness also means sticking together. You stick together, that's it. That's called cohesiveness. And you will not be willing to, you're not interested in leaving the group. That's why we call it cohesiveness, because all cohesive groups are very productive groups is a standard assumption. And finally, groups have to develop a leader among themselves. So leadership development is a very important development variable. So once leadership is developed, the entire group is ready for performing. So once they perform their jobs, they experience something called effectiveness variables. So what do you mean by effectiveness? A group is defined as effective if it fulfills the purpose for which it was constituted or formed. So, a group is determined as effective if it is successful in fulfilling its goals. So, but you know that it's all composed of members only. So, therefore, effectiveness variables include two important sub variables, namely membership satisfaction and task accomplishment. So, a group is declared effective only when it accomplishes the task that is called business, and members who fulfill those tasks are also satisfied. So this is what we call effectiveness variables. So now what we will do, we'll slowly look at each of them, and then you can also write down very many questions. Tomorrow as a manager, how do you form the groups using factors like size, similarity, personal characteristics, personal goals, and on situational factors like environment, relationship with other groups. So we'll slowly get into each of them. Let me start with them. So we'll start with the first one called uh, formation variables. So membership variables, as I've already read out, size, similarity or compatibility, personal characteristics, personal goals. Situational variables are called nature of task, organizational setting, physical environment, relationship with other groups. So when all of these are combined, when you take care of all these characteristics, then your groups are formed. So what does it mean? When it comes to size, some managers may like small groups, some managers may like to make large groups. The assumption is that large groups means more skills, more ideas. Uh, of course, they are hard to be organized. But small groups, they'll have more participation because in small groups you feel very comfortable, and most of the people prefer small groups today because you can remember at least 8 members' names, but you cannot remember 300 fellows' names at a time. That's why when it comes to size, either you could be large groups or small groups you have to form. Then second one, similarity or compatibility. Do you think group members have homogeneous characteristics will be very stable and satisfying? Or groups which are heterogeneous, they are very diverse, their skills are very diverse, their productivity is very high because they are from different backgrounds. Same fellows with same backgrounds, assumption is we think that they are less stable, they more, but it is not true. For that matter, you think heterogeneous groups, people from different backgrounds will come together, they'll have lot of conflicts, but they'll have lot of ideas. So compatible groups, higher effectiveness and satisfaction. Assumption is that if groups are having same characteristics like all men, all women, do you think you can form a group of all men and all women separately? Because they'll not have much of conflicts, therefore it will be more effective. Likewise, if you look at the uh, personal characteristics like skills, abilities, members having certain skills, abilities can influence a group success. So you may consider them while forming a group. Likewise, personal goals. Some members join for hidden agendas, may hinder group progress. So some people are part of small groups for their own personal gains. If that is the case, the groups may not uh, progress further. So as a manager, you must remember all these characteristics. On one side, that is called membership variables. On the other side, they are called situational variables, like the nature of tasks. Groups differ in their behaviors because of the tasks involved in a group, or the task involved in the entire business opportunity or business assignment. Some are skilled, some are unskilled, some are semi skilled, some are extremely qualified, extremely professional, extremely talented. So, would you keep all these things in forming the group? Likewise, organizational setting, which includes various rules, procedures, communication methods, shapes their group behavior. So, you must consider that. Likewise, next one, physical settings, seating arrangements, the environment in your workplace, is it comfortable or high temperatures? Is it very noisome or very peaceful? All these things lead to the group's continuation. Some people do not hesitate to work in a noisome place. Some people always. So, and then this is a setting where leadership also emerges. Then the last aspect of situational variables is called relationship with other groups. For example, groups are willing to stay each other in members are willing to be part of groups because of competition, which may win them some rewards. So, how other groups are, you relate to each other, and then you'll start becoming competitive. Now, let's move on to the development variables. Now, there is one gentleman by name Tuckman, 1952 or 1962, I suppose, or 65. He suggested that every group will go through four important phases. I think I can show you that in the slides. Slowly now we will move it. Close this slide and then we'll open the.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe I can show it in a browser. I'm just searching for a. Yeah, fine. So hope it's visible to you. Now, this is what the model of Tuckman is. In 1965, he suggested that every group gets developed through various phases. So there are five phases actually, they say that. Number one, forming. Number two, storming. Number three, norming. Number four, performing. Number five, actually, it is not mourning, it is called adjourning. Mourning means sick, sadness because they're leaving. But actually, here, instead of mourning, you write down adjourning. That's what, everything in Google, Google doesn't mean correct. Anybody can put anything on Google. So you corrected this one. You just said this is called mourning. Instead, it should be called adjourning. That means they're parting, they're separating. Adjourning means they're going away after the group's work. They're leaving. They'll be part of their departments. So forming, that is the initial stages. Groups form because of membership variables and situation variables. Whereas storming, that means they'll have a lot of conflicts, lot of fighting. They exchange heated arguments. That's why it's called storming. Why do they do it? Because if groups have to be put to productivity, all members should be willing to take their responsibilities. So instead, they say, "Why I should do? Why I should? You should have given that to me. Why did you give it to him?" This kind of questions are called storming. So therefore, in this storming situation, leadership emerges. A leader comes out and helps in norming. So what is norming? Expectations. You define who should do what based on the background. So rationalization happens. Why I should do it? It's because that's your specialization. Why he should do it? It's because he has some experience in that field earlier. This is the way you justify as a leader. So once the norming is done, the groups are put to performing and then succeed. Once they succeed, they will depart. This is what Tuckman's model. You can imagine 1965 is such an old time, right? So we pause here now again and then we will stop presenting. We'll get back to the original notes. So let's go ahead with the developmental variables. I think I have to now be more time conscious. Maybe 6 more time minutes I might take to conclude this model. So I hope it's visible to you. Developmental variables. Yeah. Now in developmental variables, first uh, variable that or worst developmental variable that you should be promoting is called development of communication in the groups. So in communications, what happens, though you hear lot of things about communications in your classes, MC classes, but here inside a group, the communication is very, very microscopic. We call it micro communication. Like for example, members have two types of communications in any work group. Number one, uh, one type of communication is called socio-emotional communication, where your personal issues are involved. The other type of communication is called task-related communication. So only two types of communication in the work. Socio-emotional, that is something to do with your personal issues. The second one is attempted, that is something to do with your actual job responsibility. So again, in socio-emotional, you have positive communication, you also have negative communication. What are they? Socio-emotional positive, like for some of the members are they express solidarity in the group. Some members help each other. Some members cut jokes. Sometimes they are needed, sometimes they are not needed. Because it gives a lot of free flow in the group. Members feels very comfortable, friendly, because of some jokes and having some fun. Then social emotional positive also includes people coming to an agreement on certain issues. Now, if you look at the socio-emotional negative communication, people have disagreements, people have tensions, people have bitterness, hatred, animosity, uh, antagonism. These are all called socio-emotional negative. You can imagine more microscopic task-related communication. Again, has two types. One is called task attempted answers. Second one is called task questions. That means some members raise questions related to their jobs. Some members attempt to answer those kind of jobs. So what are first one called task attempted answers? There are a lot of suggestions in the group. There are a lot of opinions in the group. There's a lot of information flow in the group. That's called put together task attempted things. Now, task related questions, people ask for orientation, people ask for opinions, people ask for suggestions, a lot of clarifications they want from the groups. So that's all about communication. Now let's go to role structuring. Here again, there are three types of roles group members are expected to follow. First one, task oriented role. Second one is maintenance oriented role. Third one is self oriented role. I hope it's there in the slide. Yeah, correct. So first one is task oriented, second one maintenance, third one is self oriented. So if you look at task oriented, you can see how many lists are there. Somebody in the group may be a idea generator, or sorry, idea initiator. Somebody else is an information seeker. Somebody else is an information provider. Somebody else is a problem clarifier. Somebody else is a summarizer. And somebody else could be consensus tester. That means whether all the group members are having same understanding. How do you know that? See, those who initiate ideas, they have plan, goal sets, identify problems, suggest solutions. And information seeker, there's one fellow who always seeks information. They request more information, the clarifications they request, they want to check, and they expect others to share more information. Whereas there's another guy who always provides information. You ask anything, he'll have readily. He shares, he forwards, and proposes various alternatives. Somebody is a problem clarifier. He simplifies the problem so that everybody understands it. Whereas somebody is a summarizer. That means he puts the entire group discussion in one summary. And then lastly, consensus tester. He's asked questions whether all are agreeing or not. If they're all agreeing, then says, okay, that means we all come to an understanding. Now, there is a second type called maintenance roles. There is somebody who is a harmonizer in the group. This guy always tries to bring peace, any discussions, reconciles, reduces, and resolves any problems. Somebody else is called a gatekeeper. He encourages all people to speak. In a GD, I've seen so many times. There's one guy who's encouraging all those others who are never opening their mouth. This guy is called gatekeeper. And there is a supporter who always provides warmth and friendliness to everybody. There's somebody else called compromiser. He will always resolve the conflicts. And there's somebody who's always strict, wanting standards. They are called standards monitor. Lastly, we have self-oriented roles. That means people have still their identity in the group. Though we say in a group you don't have identity, but here some people, some members in a group, try to show themselves. How? They are aggressors. They are becoming enemies to others. They are blocking. That means they are resisting. They are recognition seekers always. Somebody always should praise them in the group. They are dominators. They won't let others speak. And there are avoiders who silently withdraw. They don't talk anything. I don't have an idea. I'm okay. This is the way they'll talk. And there is somebody called interest provider, leaders. Interest leaders are those who voice for others because others are not opening their mouth. So that's it. Let's go to the group norms. I think in next 10 minutes, 5 minutes, we are closing the class. Let's look at the group norms. Before that, I want you to, I'll also copy paste this in the WhatsApp link. Take this test. This test is called Meredith Belbin's free test. So Belbin is a lady who developed a test called members who are comfortable in playing certain group roles. So today you should know what role you can be comfortable tomorrow in a group. So this test will tell you that. So there are at least 9 roles members are comfortable with. So you check out which role you can play comfortably tomorrow on the job. So I'll paste this link later on and use it. So let's get into various types of roles. We have already talked about them. Now let's go to norms. Norms are, as I told you, certain expectations people are supposed to share with each other. They are also called unwritten rules or tacit. That tacit means uh, hidden. They are not open. They are hidden. Unwritten means they are not visible. But we know that we are supposed to be in time to the meetings. Don't waste your time in the meetings. Always take notes, and then if you have any point of view, speak out, and that's it. Very conscious. Don't disturb others. Don't cross talk. These are all called norms. Now, I will skip that. Let's go to cohesiveness. Every member is willing to stay with the team or a group. That's what we call cohesiveness. And cohesiveness is always, in other words, cohesiveness also means unity. If a team has a unity, all members will be just blindly following the leader. So it is not correct. But leader is a very intelligent man because it's a business organization, so they understand any mistake that they make, that's it. Customers go away. So finally, how leadership develops. We must understand that only during tough times people emerge as leaders. If peaceful times, you will never find leaders. So there can be one emergent leader, there can be multiple leaders, but what we need is a leader who is very effective. So we have already talked about this uh, Tuckman's 4 stages of how the teams develop. So with that, we move on to the last set of variables called effectiveness variables. Now, as I told you, effectiveness for whom? It should be for both. Our nations also benefit from the groups. Members also should benefit from the groups because as a group, the effort, the productivity will be more powerful. Their contributions will be very focused. So always ensure that every group accomplishes its task. Then only you declare it as an effective group. And followed by every group member must be satisfied. So you must reward them. So if you don't reward them, that means the group is not successful. Even though it has accomplished the purpose or task, still you cannot call it effective because the members are not happy. I hope the message is very clear. So I think I'll pause here If you have any questions, we can raise one or two. But remember that in the beginning, as I told you, you're responsible for two things. One is how to be successful as a member of a group, and how to be successful as a manager of a group. You're managing groups. It's not one to, you may have many groups tomorrow on the job and you're managing them. So ultimately, every group must be very effective. You cannot spend time with more with the groups because if the group is not willing to spend time for itself, it is not developing. So encourage always group members to meet, discuss, come with solutions. See, as a manager, what is your job? You will only provide resources, you will only provide support to them because business goals have to be accomplished. Every day you cannot sit with a group, no, you have your own job to do. So remember, being part of a group is as challenging as being a manager of a group, and both are your tough responsibilities tomorrow. So I hope you will take them very seriously and then contribute to the successfulness of your own businesses. So with that, we'll come to the end of the session, and tomorrow we will not meet, and again Sunday morning we'll have one more session. And Sunday morning I would like to talk to you about certain what you call deadlines, that you have to submit that interview, interviewing a manager videos, and I will evaluate it next week. Next week, lot of announcements and results will be announced. I have to compile all of them and then I will announce them. So please ensure that everybody, because once the Google Classroom window is closed, you will lose 20 marks. It's a very, very serious issue. So please advise yourselves and also your friends that they should have finished their videos by now, and they should fine tune their videos, and then the interview summary. There are five questions, right? Five set of questions. Five set of questions you have to summarize, make it a 1 or 2 page note with video file. All things have to be uploaded into. If the video file is very big, don't upload it. Put it in your Google Drive. Send me the link. Just paste your link. I will watch it live and then I will evaluate it. So don't upload videos. You put them in your own Google Drive, individual Google Drive. Send me the link to that video so that it is easy for me to evaluate it. Because if you dump all videos on my Google Drive, I will not have enough space. And see that your videos are in 720 pixel, not above 720 pixels. If it is more than 720, space will be very huge. So avoid that. So make it as a small size file as possible so that you can put them in your own Google Drive. And when you send me the link, I'll be able to watch that. So you can imagine how much work I have. I have to watch all the 60 videos, isn't it? Because I'm giving 20 marks to that. Never have tried it so far in my life. First time I'm giving 20 marks for a video like that. So I want it to be really serious work. And Monday, you have to upload the video at any cost. Monday night, 11:59 is the last time. So after 11:59, you will not, if you don't submit, you lose 50 marks, and nothing we can do. So please, we had sufficient time, almost 1.5 months I gave for this assignment. A lot of inputs have been provided. So I hope you will all do a wonderful job. So that's it for today. I hope you've enjoyed this class. We are not seeing tomorrow, and again we are coming back on Monday. Sorry, Sunday. Sunday morning, 10 o'clock session. That's our last online session, and that's it. From again Monday, we'll resume our routine meetings. So until then, I wish you all the best. Have a nice weekend. Enjoy next 2 days, and then I think 2 days means today and tomorrow. Sunday, of course, Sunday you'll always have free time. But Sunday we are meeting because tomorrow we are not meeting. So that's it. So thank you, and then have a nice day to all of you.
Sir, I have a doubt, sir. We have case studies presentations on the next week,
Ex-
sir. But
Yeah.